Okay, we're live, so I'm going to try and find the viewing link for this.
Oh, no, wait for the viewing link to come up.
And get this out to everybody. If I knew how to work this shit better.
You look?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, I need to find a way to share the link for this. How do I even find the link for the viewing link?
Oh, I see behind. Go to your.
Well, because mine's different than yours because I don't have as many of the options over here.
We'll go to the share, like the little dude's face.
Okay, I got one.
No, go up.
Up here?
Yeah. Copy that link.
Is that the viewing link?
No, that's the invite people.
No, I've got that put out. I need to get the actual link so people can view it.
Yeah, you have to go to the studio and like make a stream and all that shit.
Oh, wow, I just made it an event. Here, I'll just start plastering this.
Oh, it says it's live, yeah.
Yeah, we are live, so we are back.
Oh, shit, oh, fuck. Why would we... What? I just want to ask one question. Why the fuck were we talking about that Bruce Willis movie in the other chat before we came here? Was there a reason? I was waiting to get to the point.
We were talking. You talking about dude in the speedboat arresting meth heads.
Oh yeah, but I don't know why that came up. Oh, anyway. All right. Where's the share link, dude? I'll just I'll post it on my pages.
Yeah, we're working on it. Fucking technical shit.
You gotta let Pretty tase you now, George. To you need some adrenaline.
Already did that.
Players does it take to get a Google Hangout stream live?
Well, we had the stream, but for whatever reason, it wouldn't let me share it.
Yeah.
When we had to restart, it was just like, no, you can't share it.
There's no damn stories coming. So they've gone, no, we can't let that out on air. No.
Yeah, exactly. See, Hillary Clinton, man.
Fucking bitch. That's Maggie Thatcher. That was your. Wasn't that your
okay, I couldn't share the link with Josh for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird that I don't have any option. Surely I should be able to just share it from my thing as well. Like everyone should be able to share it, right? The fuck? Is it your YouTube or is it Google?
It's
Google.
Okay, well, I just tried to share the viewing link and it wouldn't let me. So
that's
at least
exactly what I was running into. Same issue under TFL. So
What in the hell?
I am at a loss.
Well,
what about the link at the top of the page? If I just paste that somewhere, do you reckon that'll work? Let me see.
Try that.
I've got the link here. Here, I'll just show it.
See if you could.
Sorry,
see if you can post that. See if it works, and then just start spamming it. Well, we've got one viewer, so somebody's gonna get entertained.
Well, there's several of us in the chat. One of us is viewing the link. So yeah.
So as long as we so good. We got the link there. Let's just start. Yeah. All right, so I shared that to TFL, I believe.
Oh, it's like a YouTube thing. No wonder it's fucking crazy. It takes you to a YouTube link, right?
Well, no, yeah. So before George was messing with it, I was doing what we normally do through the Hangouts, and it still wasn't letting it happen. So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, no, I understand now. Dude, I was super confused too. I thought it was a Facebook thing, but it's not. It's a Google fucking thing. And it's not even a Google thing. It's a YouTube thing. Jesus Christ. Social media, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, we've got 2 viewers.
All right, now I've got a link now. Hold on, I'll post it out as well. Whoa. Fuck.
Probably else.
They've got a YouTube in there.
Well, we're trying, folks. So our 3 viewers out there, welcome back to the 30th Heresy podcast against DMD Telethon. We're going to try and round it out here for another hour and 15 minutes or so. At least it'll be recorded. We can spam the link later so we can all hear Mr. Coxman's story of surviving in Somalia. And if we can hit that final mark before 2 a.m., maybe Pretty can tase himself. No, I already got that. We only have to make like another $1,000.
Wait, what?
Oh, it's only 1,001K.
No, it's 30,000.
No, you said if we hit like 20
No, I
something.
never said that.
Yes.
I said 30,000. I kept updating where we were at.
Okay.
So that hasn't changed. I've never changed that.
God damn it, Pretty.
I'm just being honest. I mean, that's what
It's
it is.
drunken,
It's like,
drunken streaming.
I'm not even drunk. I've had 2 drinks today.
yeah, no,
You've got no
it's just
excuse
been-
then.
My updates have been where are we at today, and we're still a ways away from 30K. So
Well, and I still taste my ass, so
yeah.
I mean, you guys got what you wanted either way.
But you know what? If you
good.
hit 30K by 2 a.m., which is an hour and 15 minutes, I will tase myself. And, sure.
I don't think anyone needs to tase.
Okay. So we're
Yeah,
starting
sorry,
to
we
get some
got. I think
viewers back in.
yeah, we've gotten all the tasing out of our system now. I don't think anyone needs to be tased anymore. Or maybe
No, there will be
it
tasing.
needs. It'd have to
I'm
be
gonna-
spontaneous, just like.
I'm just going to randomly run out in the street and tase people.
Just let it happen.
All right. Well, we've got a few viewers back. I'm sure we'll have more filter in as we continue to get the link out. Geez, I don't know how we're going to get Josh the link, but we've at least got a few folk here.
I've
joining
sent.
us.
Josh should have the link. He's in the
Okay.
chat now.
Okay, and hopefully.
I've just posted. Yeah, I've just posted on Facebook too, so we might get a few listeners maybe.
Okay. Well, we've managed to raise some funds tonight, so that is a good thing. So, and of course, the fundraising efforts will continue throughout the year until the conclusion of this year's fundraising season at Scandus when the raffle is drawn. People get their knights, not knights, they're titans. So that will be pretty awesome. So it's been a good solid almost 9 straight hours of telethoning. And so what's on everyone's mind?
Well, I'm super curious to hear Dan's story.
All right, well,
Yeah,
let's just
definitely.
go into it then.
Right with that, shall we?
Yeah, just before we start that too, at the end of this, we'll do the Fire Raptor draw. So I'm just posting out a thing now, just telling people to get in the chat, and then we'll do a quick trivia question, and then whoever's first to reply on that will get the Fire Storm Raven hard to build fucker ship. So
Firestorm Raven.
I don't even know what the fuck the thing's called. I've called it like 6 different things: Storm Raven, Storm
Yeah,
Eagle,
for
Storm Talon, Storm Raven, Storm something, Storm Raptor.
Storm
In any case, yeah, we'll give that away. What do we say? Like in 20 minutes time? That should give people. Well, how long do you need, Dan? How long is this story? Is it an hour? Is it like an epic?
I'm a
You need to
great
drag it out.
Yeah, I can
Okay,
drag
good.
it. I can-
At least 20 minutes. It needs to be at least 20 minutes. We can you can have a Q&A at the end if we don't get to 20 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Right. So I'll tell you my story about then. So morning, everybody. From welcome is the Fossack Boys. I'm with Ant here, and with Spencer. Oh, they're still conscious, which is good. Barely. So one of the things I said we'd do as part of the DMD is I'd do a story of mine from my past that I haven't told anybody on any of the podcasts before. Those of you listening to RFI will have probably heard some of my stuff, specifically about the time I worked in Africa. So just to summarise for those of you, I worked for a shipping company for a while in Africa, doing some role on the ships and also in a base in the Ivory Coast, Côte d'Ivoire. So my job basically involved logistics. So it was organising containers that go on container ships. Now containers come in a standard size. They're like 40-foot long metal boxes. And the way it works with a container ship is that you book one of these 40-foot containers, And you can put what the fuck you like in it, really. You know, any kind of random shit. You could just put
Slaves.
Yeah, cocaine, barrel, anything else. But, we'll stick it on the shelf. Tell us where you want delivery. My job was to make sure all the containers were in the right place, in the right order, so that you could get them off when you got to the right port. Now, it won't surprise you to learn this, but containers go missing all the time, and they're quite expensive things. But people twat them for all reasons. I've seen them turned into houses. They turn them into they kind of like semi-buried them into fortifications. So more of that later. Now,
yeah.
The thing is, containers get stolen all the time, and very often people order containers and then just take it, because you can have it delivered to wherever you want it, be that up country, anywhere in Africa, and you'd fill it with your shit, and then it gets brought back to port. But actually, the deposit you put down was actually quite relatively small compared to the value of the container. So it's quite common for people to order a container fully intending to do something nefarious with it, and then it just fucking vanish. Bearing in mind, this is was it pre-internet?
Probably.
Actually, well, no, the internet came into being in 1992, didn't it? Yeah. So
I didn't have it till later. We didn't have it here on the underside of the world until a few years ago.
I mean, you've got electricity though.
Yeah, we've had that. It's
okay.
That's why we only started the podcast in like 2013.
That's where your mate's gone, isn't it? He's pedaling, keeping the generator going.
Yeah. Go faster.
So containers go missing. So what eventually the container companies decided to do was to put tracking devices on them. Not overly complex, but early kind of GPS. So at least you could see where the fuckers were. And one of the jobs that I got, they've been doing this for a couple of years when I joined the company. And one of the jobs I got as part of this role called supercargo is I'd be responsible for going and getting them back from places. Eventually, you get to the point where there's so many out there that have been stolen that you'd have to go and round some up, because there's kind of like a cost benefit thing. Anyway, Somalia was one of the places where containers always used to go missing. They'd go missing all the time in Somalia. Now, I worked in West Africa, so on the kind of the western side of the country, but we obviously had shipping that go down the eastern side of the country as well. And like I say, Somalia was the worst place for containers going missing. So I was up for a kind of like a tour of duty, if you like, in East Africa. I wasn't really looking forward to it, and they gave me two choices. They said you can either go on a ship around East Africa, I said, or you can do the container roundup, is what they used to call it. So I wanted to do the container roundup. I think probably safer than going around the coast, because this is about the time that Somalia started to get a pirate problem. I don't know what Ant's showing me porn on his phone. So I volunteered to go up country in Africa and get containers back. It was, on reflection, was a really fucking terrible idea. Safer than being on a ship. A lot worse than being on a ship. Anyway, it first occurred to me that this might be somewhat challenging of an opportunity, shall we say, when the first thing they sent me, I thought they were going to send me on a kind of like some kind of like language course or something like that. No. They sent me on one of those kind of like kidnap So,
oh god!
This is what I get to come back to London for this. So I flew back to London, and I'm sat in this room with 3 other people. And the only saving grace I thought was that of the 3 of us, I was probably the best looking. So the chances of getting stabbed, shot, and fucked up the arse were fairly high, I thought. I'm thinking to myself, 2 days in Somalia, I'm going to be currency for some fucking warlord. So anyway, so they go through this stuff, but I'm quite young at this stage. I'm in my early 20s, so I'm not really taking it serious. It's a bit of a joke, really. And so the course lasts like 4 or 5 days. We have things, and they put hoods over your head, and so this is what it's going to be like, and everybody has a laugh, and then you go to the pub afterwards. So it's nothing like what it's actually going to be like. But anyway, they do it, and they can then get insurance for me, apparently. So when I get kidnapped, they can pay the ransom. So it's coming up to my birthday, and I'm back in East Africa, and it's about the second or third job we've got. It's early October, and I think it's 1993. Anyway, point being is,
isn't that right about when Operation Gothic Serpent went down?
hold the line, caller.
Interesting. Okay.
So, you can't land certainly in the early 90s, you couldn't land on the coast in Somalia because somebody would take your shit and shoot you in the face. So what we had to do is go into Kenya and then go overland and meet somebody at the border. So you get this to the Somali border, and then somebody had done some fucking deal with one of the local warlords, and there'd be a convoy of dudes high on fucking off the tits on this like cat stuff. There's like these leaves that they
cat.
Fucking hell. Honestly, having tried it, it's mental. It's long term. Okay, just as a show of hands, anybody done cocaine? Okay, just me then. That's not really. This is not really going to work as a metaphor. So the effect of cat is like cocaine, but over a much longer period. Yeah. So
Jesus
cocaine.
Christ.
Whereas cat is a kind of like, oh, that's intriguing. Over it keeps you high for quite a long time, and it's a anuretic, so it suppresses your appetite, and it keeps you awake for days.
That's a diet pill.
Yeah. If the fucking
Jesus.
Kardashians ever get hold of this, it'll be on sale everywhere.
Yeah, how's it not on sale?
It's still legal
Right now.
here.
Go on, dude.
Oh, really?
I think it's still legal here in the UK, isn't it?
What, cat?
Is it legal?
Yeah.
No. Do we go? On Prime, here we go.
Need to get some painting done, like just fucking pump out 3,000 points. Like, gotta keep chewing it though.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so cat is the thing. So I go up country, and we're kind of like come to the border, and we're met by this convoy. There's like 4 or 5 jeeps and technicals. There's some fucking dude with a 50 caliber on the back of this fucking truck, and technical.
Jesus.
And I'm driving the car we're in. We're in this kind of like UN colored Jeep, just a standard kind of like Jeep, but white with a soft top. Anyway, I'm driving that. I'm with another bloke from the company who shall remain nameless to protect the innocent. And then we've got like 3 cars in front of us, 2 cars behind us, and the truck in front of us, this dude with this fucking technical with a 50 caliber on it. I don't know. I'm not. This is the first time I'd kind of actually been in Somalia, so I wasn't overly sure whether this was a necessary amount of security or whether this was kind of a bit over the top. So in my experience, that certainly going on from this point, a lot of the Somalis, they like to make a big show. Whenever the first time you meet a crew from one of these warlords, it's like they get out all the big guns, kind of like make a point. It's a kind of a power thing. Anyway. So I'm driving this Jeep in the middle of this fucking convoy. And a relevant point as well. Earlier that day, I'd figured out I hadn't brought my bag with most of my clothes in. So the only shirt I had was a shirt I picked up while I'd been traveling before I went to university. Now, I don't know how. So for you Americans, I'm not sure if you'll get this. It's you've heard of soccer,
Yes.
round balls instead of that egg shape you chase. Crazy. Anyway, football, yeah. And so I'd been in Barcelona whilst I had a year before university, and I'd gone to the Nou Camp Stadium, which is the home stadium of Barcelona. I got this Barcelona shirt. Now, there's a Leicester player, or a former Leicester player called Gary Lineker, who used to play for Barcelona, and I got the shirt with his name on the back. So Barcelona shirt, Lineker on the back. So listen,
quite nice.
so I'm in this Barcelona shirt driving a Jeep. This will all become apparent later. So we get do a day's drive. We start. There's no hotels or anything. We're all camping outside. There's fucking tents and them dudes. Second day, we're heading up country and we're going into this wooded area. It's like a wooded valley. Now, I'm no military expert. Feels like a fucking ambush to me. True enough, we get halfway through, and the lead vehicle, the tires blow like that, gone, skids off to the side of the road. Then all of a sudden, there's like 24 Somali militiamen jump out with AK-47s and come running up, and go, firing into the air and shit. And at this point, my brain kicks in and go, they said something about this on the kidnap course. What was it? Anyway, too late. There's a bloke got his AK-47 stuck through the window, like kind of here. I'm like this, and it's all going tits up at the front because there's only 2 guys in this convoy that speak English. One of them's just been knocked out with the butt of a rifle, and the other guy is now face down with some dude standing on his back. So I'm thinking, I don't speak Somali, and I didn't. The other language in Somalia is Arabic, but I didn't speak Arabic at the time. I didn't even know hello and yes. It would have been helpful if my future self could have projected backwards. There we are.
Oh, you've learned Arabic since.
It's not. It's just complete coincidence. Anyway, I didn't speak any of the languages these people spoke, and the 2 people that spoke English were in big fucking trouble at the front of the convoy. So they haul us out, and I'm kneeling down in stress position like this, and there's dudes kind of high on cat waving AK-47s around. I think I'm in big fucking trouble now. Christ knows what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, there's a bit of a commotion, and there's 2 of them. They're like pointing at me, and they're sort of like talking to each other. I'm thinking, oh shit! Like,
there goes your so.
So pretty boy, fun times with him. I'm not looking forward to this talk. Anyway, so they're taking a real interest in me, and they're pointing, and then they fuck off to the front, and they come back with this big dude. I mean, he's fucking huge, like mountain of this man. He comes up and he's got you were talking about gold-plated AK-47s.
Yeah,
plated AK-47, but he has all his teeth are gold, and he's got proper rapper chains, kind of. So
was it B.A. Baracus?
It might have been actually. No, he was too B.A. Baracus.
Jesus.
So anyway, he wanders up, and he comes up to me now, and he goes, "You know Gary Lineker." Now in Arabic, there's no Jew. They can't say Gary. They say, "You know Gary Lineker." I say, "I'm like Gary Lineker." So I go, "Yes, he's my cousin."
Oh shit! No.
Oh, good lord.
Gary Lineker! Turns out this guy, well, in fact, what I didn't realise was across Somalia, the thing they're all into is European football. And
of course.
That we've been hijacked by a bunch of Barcelona fans, and they all love Gary Lineker. So all of a sudden, it stops being a kidnap situation. It turns into a bit of a party. Now, I don't know what happened to the rest of the guys. They got fucked off. But basically, this other group of militiamen said, "You come with us." And I was like, "We're still getting kidnapped." They pissed off the other guys, and we got stuck in the back of this other technical, and they drove us off. And we went to what I can only describe as some kind of militia camp. So it got like it was a compound, it got like walls and shit. Like mud brick stuff. I don't know if you've seen buildings in Ethiopia, or is that they're like mud brick buildings, but in kind of in the bush. And we go in there, and and all of a sudden they start killing goats, and it becomes fairly apparent they're preparing some kind of feast. And they put us in this kind of like house thing, me and this other bloke from the company, and they set us there for a good 3 or 4 hours while they're cooking all this like goat curry stuff. And then they have
a big pot that was there already.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't like cannibalism or anything. And then they bring us out, put us by this fire, and then the big dude comes up and he says, "You tell me, Gary Lineker stories. Tell me now." So these stories about knowing Gary fucking Lineker, and clearly he speaks a bit of English, not a lot. And it basically went me coming up with some anecdote about Gary Lineker, him translating it into Somali, and then everybody going, "Ho, ho, 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 ho." And this goes on for about 12 hours, to the point where I think I can't think of anything else to tell them. At which point they let us go back to bed. In the morning, they then come to us and say, what he said, why are you in Somalia? Other than to come and tell you stories about Jerry Lineker. And I said, well, we need to get this container back. We're here to get this container back. He says, no problem. You come with me. We get the container. I was like, fucking hell. This is going to go pear-shaped, isn't it? So anyway, they take us and to where all these, and there's like stacks of them. There's like 12 fucking containers. And they said, you cousin of Jerry Lineker, you have them all. Right, and they're all from our company. There's like 12 of the fuckers in this one stack, and they load them all onto these flatbeds, and they give us our Jeep back, and we drive back across the Kenyan border with these 12.
What the fuck?
Somali army.
Yeah, with this warlord and his crew going Jerry Lineker, Jerry Lineker.
Whoa, that's so fucking crazy.
And then we get these 12 containers back. But the worst of it is, that meant I got the best recovery rate in the company of anybody ever. Well, the point is, when you might be the world's greatest sewer cleaner, but it doesn't mean you want to do it for a living.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
so they're like, oh, we've got some really tough one for you. Like, we need to parachute you in, and
drop them in, man. Get me those fucking containers back, bitch.
Just tell me which football team they follow, and I'll just take a box of jerseys and get everything back. That's what the insurance company should be doing, hiring these soccer people to go out and get shit for them.
Well, you see,
like when they sent Rodman to North Korea.
Yeah, well, this is it. The thing is, with the advent of the internet, of course, they'd be fairly easy to find out that I was.
Oh yeah. Oh, you'd be fucked. Yeah. I was thinking the whole time, like, what if one just picks up a phone and just goes like, "Wait, Jerry Lineker's cousin?" Like,
you go, you look nothing like him.
Yeah, you're going in the pot, mate. Yeah.
So there we are. So that's how I survived Somalia, and unfortunately got the reputation of being the best container recoverer in the centre.
Message Jerry Lineker to say he saved your life.
It's not a thing. The thing was, he wasn't even playing for Barcelona at the time. Oh yeah,
I remember that.
That's the point. So the other thing I forgot to mention, of course, the reason why the warlord activity was kicked off is because the day our convoy got raided was the day that Operation Gothic Serpent kicked off. So across Somalia, everybody was like, "What the fuck? The Americans are coming!" And it didn't matter where you were. Everybody was like, "The Americans are coming. They're coming in choppers. They're going to fuck us up." Of course, white bloke turns up in a Jeep. I could have been an American. They didn't fucking know.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So there we are. So that's how I survived Somalia.
As soon as you said October of '93, I'm like, that was a bad time to be around, especially around Mogadishu.
But to be fair, we weren't that close to. It was a fair way away from Mogadishu, I think. But just across the country, it went fucking nuts. But yeah, Jerry Lineker, thank you very much.
That's some Black Hawk Down shit.
Fucking A. Jerry Lineker.
Jerry. Yeah, you know what you need to do. You now need to make a Heresy character based on that name.
Jerry Lineker. Jerry Lineker.
In a boss way.
It's quite clearly a militia army, isn't it?
Yeah.
Allahu
Akbar. How did you come up with stories? Like, were you just telling them like fucking just like plot lines to Gilligan's Island and shit? Like, what were we...
Yeah, I was like random shit. He said, I have the advantage. I did English literature at university my first time around. So I read loads of stories. So I mean, like one of them was, I think I adapted a story from Le Morte d'Arthur, a King Arthur story. It's like I just put Gavin in instead of Sir Galahad, and it's like, oh yeah, sometime it's like Gary Lineker. He pulled a sword out of stone. Like, what's this story?
Wait a second.
Yeah. I mean,
isn't that Beowulf? What the hell?
But he didn't speak an awful lot of English. He was probably it was there's a film with what's his name? It's about the Marquis de Sade. Oh, what's the guy's name? Australian actor.
Oh, from what else is he in? He's in Pirates of the Caribbean, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bit in it. Where,
Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a bit in it where he's in his cell and he's he's trying to narrate a prose piece to somebody who's at the end of this row of cells, and she's writing it down. And it's like Chinese as it goes. And he says a line which is one of my favourites: "It's the finest prose available to humanity, filtered through the minds of the insane." And I can only assume that's a bit like what it was.
Yeah. That's the craziest fucking story. Did you have to go back out and do that shit again, like running around Somalia, or were you just like, fuck that, I'm quitting, this is bullshit?
I never had to go back to Somalia. That was the only time I had to go to Somalia, because after Black Hawk Down, it went proper fucking nuts. They just shot people. So
yeah,
it was like,
dude, at the start of the story, I assumed you were in like the British Army or something. I was just like, oh, you must be doing some military thing, you know, have a bunch like a company of dudes or whatever. Yeah, it's just in a fucking jeep, just driving around. Like, Jesus Christ.
No. I've never been in the armed forces.
Where is Ant has?
Yeah, Ant's been in the forces, haven't you, Ant?
A long time.
Chainsaw
ago.
story.
Yes.
Wow.
Come on, we need to hear this one.
So
I heard chainsaw. Let's hear it.
Chainsaw assault, come on out.
Okay. So I was in the TA, which is like the National Guard. So basically, we used to rock up on a Friday straight from work, go to the armory, sign out your weapon, and then we suddenly became a soldier, which was quite good fun. I was an assault pioneer, so my job was infantry. When I was also an engineer. So if we came across minefields, barbed wire, anything that blocked the advance of the infantry, then basically we'd go in and clear it, and everybody can continue on to the pub. What was this one time when we did? We were on exercise in, I think it was Wales or somewhere like that, and we were fighting against the paratroopers, and the paratroopers are quite renowned for being fucking nuts. Aircraft.
Yeah.
And for me,
40 minutes survival time.
Yeah, something like that. And obviously, you know, they have a great idea of when they land, they put berets on instead of the fighting helmets, because
just in case you weren't sure who they were.
Who they were. It's like, yoo-hoo. So anyway, so we got tasked with assaulting this village, and because of an assault pioneer, we used different bits and bobs to get in there, so like ladders and breaching charges and chainsaws. And because I've been given this chainsaw to wander around Wales with most of the week, I figured I'd make use of it. But what it was is me and this other lad decided to have a bit of a clever idea, where with the chain on the chainsaw, you can actually take the chain off. So it's just the bar. So it's nothing. So we had one chainsaw with the chain on and one chainsaw with the chain off. But when you're on full revs, you can't really tell the difference.
Jesus Christ.
So we had the idea, the quickest way to clear a house with minimum effort is to basically get the people to leave the house without having to shoot at them or shoot blanks. And because obviously we were lazy bastards, because we were only TA, and we were doing it for like £7 an hour.
Bargain.
And it was tax relief, because each bullet cost X amount of pence. So every bullet you shot, it was like, that's the taxman paying you, and it was quite good crack. So basically, we had one of us would go in with the chainsaw, and the other one would run around the house with the chainsaw that's blank, and that was the kind of plan. The problem is we didn't expect it to be as successful as it was. So this is during the night as well. So it was kind of like early morning. So, you know, people were not very awake. So
I imagine these guys were probably on edge as well.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, because I think they were like trainee paratroopers, so like a new recruits, so they weren't kind of like old grizzled bastards. They were kind of like they were full of testosterone. They were ready
not full of vets.
No. So these were just boxed down the dudes. So one of us basically approached the door and just chopped it in half. So just literally got the chain and got kind of chainsaw down the
Hi,
middle.
honey, I'm home.
And obviously flashbangs went in and all that kind of bollocks. And then the guy with the actual live chainsaw would then take a step back, and then the guy with the blank chainsaw would then go in and just like full rev it, like screaming and shouting. And we had to get paratroopers jumping from the first floor because they didn't fucking know what was going on, and it was just one of those ones where it became like an urban myth at that point, where we cleared houses in record time. But because
Chasing us around with a chainsaw.
yeah, so we're chasing paratroopers around with a chainsaw, and it was one of those ones where I got into so much trouble for it. It was comedy. It was great. But I don't think about it, obviously, apart from the whole fucking internet. Just because it's one of those ones where it is unbelievable, but it was fucking good fun.
To be honest, I came up with a chainsaw of any kind.
Well, the thing is though, because that was it was really weird that the chainsaw was kind of like my fetish, and I didn't really discover it until I joined the TA. I'd always been kind of a bit of a nerd and a geek, obviously, and I'm a gamer and all that kind of stuff. But when they gave me a chainsaw, I turned into like some
Not a rifle, but a chainsaw.
Yeah, the gun was fine. The only thing I didn't like about the gun is you had to clean the fuck up. I mean, when you cleaned it, you had to like polish. It was like polishing. It was fucking unreal. It was like I can still remember the block. You had to make the block so shiny. It was like, what is the fucking point? But with the chainsaw, it was just like weapons free. It was fucking amazing. It was really, really good.
Man, I was so stressing out there was going to be like a comedy, like, oh wait, which chainsaw is the real one? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was expecting that as well.
Oh shit, I was so stressed out. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where we were like, yeah, so let's make sure we have a bit of a giggle, but let's not get arrested for manslaughter.
Yeah, I was expecting some sort of main para.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things. And when I get really pissed, I'll tell more stories, but I kind of tend to keep them. Like, nah,
You've got one other one that I like that you've told us about your time in the TA.
Which one was that?
It's the one where you used to clear landing zones and then you turned it to a game.
That's not first chance.
All right, cool. Well, let's do this Fire Raptor raffle thing,
definitely.
whatever we're gonna do. So, how many people are in the chat? Can you see, George?
We've got 17 viewers right now.
Yay!
Oh shit! Okay, cool. So, so I've got a question. Michael wrote down a question for me to ask just before he had to leave. He has to go back to Army land. So here's the question. So if you're in the chat, get ready. The first person to answer the question correctly will win this fire. What the hell it is on?
Fire
Let me
Raptor.
shake it for the camera again. Fire Raptor gunship. Woo.
Yay.
I think I can't say it right because I've got PTSD from fucking getting fucked up by them in the last bunch of games. Like they're really good against Mechanicum, like that Strength 6 AP3 minigun. Just like oh shit, fucks up Castellax and shit like that. And it's got those missiles; it can drill you with them. And it's also got the the autocannons in the side that are motherfucker against all my shit. Toughness 5, AP 4. Oh, you don't get a save. You just take wounds, eat a dick. So in any case, the question is now: if you've listened to the I've Heard podcast, you might have. You might know this. If you're like a creepy stalker and you've been creepy stalking Michael and I, you'll definitely know this. So here's the question. What armies did Tim and Michael bring to Adepticon? Oh, I don't know if I'm pulling that up.
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this.
Is that backwards?
What
of course you do,
armies
George,
did-
you creepy stalker. Creepy stalker boy.
What armies did Michael and Tim bring to Adepticon? So first person to answer correctly in the chat will be the winner of the Fire Raptor.
Surely it was
Hopefully-
Primaris Marines, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully I didn't give too much away with my fucking opening ramble just before, but you know.
Okay,
Still, like who
so-
knows what does Michael play? What does he play?
I don't know.
I have not.
I'm assuming he's good.
I can't see the chat, so you'll have to tell me.
Okay, our
If I see the
first
chat,
one.
you'll probably fucking freak out.
Let's see.
First
Warhammer
one,
Eric says
chronologically.
Emperor's Children for Michael. Tim Mechanicum.
Oh, boom, yep.
Meowing Cat actually answered Mechanicum and Emperor's Kids in one answer.
But who came in first though?
Well, the one that actually had both was Meowing Cat.
Oh, Meowing Cat wins then.
Pretty-
So Meowing Cat, get in contact. Get in contact via email, iveheardspodcast@gmail.com, and I'll email. Well, like I won't email it to you. No, I'll email it to you, bro. I'll email you this physical item. You have to printed out from the email. I don't know if that technology is possible yet. So we might have to
Okay,
wait
so
a little.
Meowing Cat is going to be our winner because he had both correct in this.
But donation, has he done a donation as well? Has he donated? That's a problem.
Quick,
All right, send confirmation of your donation.
Which is now
Yep.
doing.
Yeah. Chuck's a quid in.
He's just, oh fuck, quick. It has to be one ticket. It has to be 35. It has to be one ticket. Heresy against DMD.com. Don't forget to go there and buy some tickets. $105 is a sweet spot that gets you 3 tickets. There's a fuckload of prizes, including obviously the Warlord, obviously 2 Reavers, so that's 3 draws in itself. And then we've also got a is it which book is it? The Rogue Trader book or
Slaves to Darkness?
Slaves to Darkness, a signed Slaves to Darkness, and I think it's signed by
we've
the
already-
Black Library crew.
Yeah, we did that one.
We did that one? Okay, we already did that one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, awesome. So if Meowing Cat hasn't bought a ticket, next person in there, email through your thing as well, just to be safe and certain, and we'll send you out this Storm Raven. Hopefully you don't live in the same city as me, because I hate fucking fighting against those things. I just don't take any anti-air. That's my like secret to success. Never take any anti-air ever, and just hope that no one ever takes jets.
All right, so I tell you what, we're going to give Meowing Cat 5 minutes to get his confirmation to you, Tim.
Yep.
Of his donation. So Meowing Cat, you have until, well, it's 1:20 a.m. here in Texas, so you have until 1:25 a.m. wherever the fuck that is the rest of the world.
It's 7:20 in Britain.
Jesus.
7:20. It's 4:20 p.m. here. On the underside of the disc.
On the underside of the disc. Well, folks, we are down to 40 minutes left in this telethon. So we've raised a fair bit of money so far. Total right now, we are at $25,967 raised in this for this charity over the year. So our total for tonight. Let me do a little bit.
Crazy times.
I have 1% battery left on my phone. Wow. We've raised $1,745 so far.
American dollars.
So we've raised
greenbacks.
Very good, very
greenbacks.
large amount of money for charity. We are still a ways off from our goal. So hopefully we can, we can get more Aussies and English awake and watching the show, and we can make up the difference there in the next 38 minutes. Pretty and I are starting to drag here a little bit, so we'd like to go to bed knowing
it's
that
going to be tough. Yeah, you guys are. I think Josh is actually asleep. If you look at Josh, is he asleep?
Looks pretty close.
I can't tell if Josh is actually asleep or if he was painting a miniature really finely, with his eyes, oh, I'm gonna paint this fine detail here.
No, he's breathing.
He's muted as well. I didn't.
No, we can't hear you, Joshy.
There I am. How are you?
There we go.
Yeah, I'm dying. I'm dying here. I can't. I've run out of steam.
Look at you guys on the other side of the world, on the top of the disc. No stamina.
We got the powerful Joe Kirkus in the chat as well.
Oh, hey, Joe. It was really crazy, early on, because we started talking to the Canadians, and it was daytime, and then it went into fucking nighttime, and then it went into basically daytime again or something. It just seemed like they had a whole nighttime while we were talking, and now the UK dudes are back. And it's daytime again there. How the fuck? How does this work? How does it work? I don't understand. Tell me.
One on each side of the disc.
How does this work with this flat Earth thing?
It's been daytime here the entire time. That's the other thing. It's been daytime here the entire time. What's Hillary Clinton doing, man? It's Hillary. What's she fucking?
I was going to ask a factual science-based question about how far is Australia from the equator, but fuck that.
The top is very close to the equator.
Okay.
But yeah, where we are is we're subtropical, so we're just outside the tropical zone. about like 200 k's south of the. I think south of the Tropic of Cancer, whichever tropic it is. One of the tropics.
Let's be honest. At this point, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn. Who gives a fuck at this point?
Oh, Tropic of Capricorn. That's the one.
If the Earth is flat, it doesn't matter. You're either on the upside or the downside.
Yeah. All right. Well, have we got confirmation? I haven't seen any confirmation come through, so we might have to go to the second person.
We've got 1 minute, Meowing Cat, to get your confirmation to Tim, and we are going to then award to the next person in line if they can provide verification of their donation.
Refresh on the donate.
Yes, get those donations in if you have not already. Again, this is a very good cause. Obviously, anything that affects children especially is something that's very, very important to try and stamp out. It's late enough. People that have listened to the Spacemen with Guns for a time have probably heard my story, but things like this, to me personally, are also they're also very important. When my first son was born, I have 2 sons that are 5 and 3. When my first son was born, it was a emergency situation. I got my wife to the hospital. About 15 minutes later, they'd had her hooked up to everything. They actually started to lose my son's heartbeat on the monitor. Broke her water, found out my son had actually shit in the womb and then had sucked the shit into his lungs. They had to wheel my wife off for an emergency C-section, which was quick and dirty. I honestly don't know how long it was take because I was just kind of stuck out in the waiting room. And I'll get back to the story in just a second. So it's now 1:26 a.m. Tim, have you received any sort of confirmation from Meowing Cat?
No, I have not.
You have not. Okay. Well, then we are going to go to our second, which is going to be Wargamer Eric, who is the person second in line to have the complete answer. I believe he actually won something already earlier this time.
Yeah, quick on the trigger. Old Eric.
Wargamer Eric, yeah, I believe he got something else. So I know you sent your confirmation to the TFL page, but if you could, I don't have that up in front of me, unfortunately. I'm not on the TFL page. If you could grab a copy of that, send it to Tim, we'll get that all squared away for you.
Awesome. Easy peasy.
Yes, when my son was born, I was outside the operating theater, and the surgeon came out, and he had some blood on his smock, which was, not something you want to see when they're coming out after operating on your wife. And told me, it's like, well, we got him out. He wasn't breathing, and he didn't really have a heartbeat, and so we had to do some resuscitation work, but we got him back. So then they wheeled him out inside this little box thing that they put small children in. And I mean, he was a full-term baby and everything. And immediately took him up to neonatal intensive care. I got to ride in the elevator with him and into his room. I got to take a few pictures, but then they very quickly ushered me out of the room and went back down to find my wife in recovery. And she had no idea what was going on. There were doctors and nurses coming and going, checking on her. I had no idea what was going on. And we found out our son, he was alive. They got him breathing. He had a collapsed lung at one point. And what had happened, we found out, was the placenta had actually started to tear away from the womb. So he was not getting oxygen. He was not getting, everything that he needed to, be born and live and everything. And the treatment in situations like that, when small children like that aren't getting, when they've been deprived of oxygen for a period, is to place they call it head cooling therapy. And basically they put them on this mat that had cold water pumped through it, and normal procedure is about 3 days. And we were approached by a nurse who was part of a research program at the University of Iowa hospitals. And most people that are probably listening to this right now probably won't have heard of the University of Iowa. There's a medical school there that's actually a very, very good medical school. And it's a teaching hospital. And this nurse had actually approached us. They have a theory that putting children on this cooling mat for longer periods of time at colder temperatures would actually do more to benefit them and help slow down their metabolism or to give their bodies a chance to catch up. So my son ended up, we consented to this research study, and he was selected to be in a group that was a 5-day duration on the cooling blanket at a lower temperature. So for 5 days, my son had a core body temperature of 89 degrees, which is 89 degrees Fahrenheit. The normal human body temperature in Fahrenheit is 98.6. That's like the average temperature. And over the course of these 5 days, his condition began to progress to the point where he was eventually able to breathe on his own and was able to start nursing and everything. But my oldest son was 5 days old before I was able to hold him. Now, without research funding for things like this, and without the people willing to do the research into things like this, conditions and things that happen, this kind of thing can't happen. My son might not have been around if someone at one point hadn't looked into this type of treatment, if they had not been able to secure funding to research the theories they had on how to help children in this situation. So for us to all band together and to donate money to fight Duchenne's muscular dystrophy means that children in the future, young boys specifically, they can have a fighting chance to not have to deal with this disease. Freddie's son could have the chance to have a cure and to not have to deal with this, you know, and Freddie has been such just an astounding champion for this cause that, you know, we've all just kind of gravitated around him, and we, you know, that's why we've all come together over the last almost 10 hours to try and raise money for this cause. Now, so many people have already donated, but we've still got a ways to go. You know, we've got a goal of $30,000. We've still got 4,000 and some change to raise to meet this goal. But without funding for these causes, for this research, we can't do it. And if we can't do that, if we can't find it to donate even, you know, $10, $5, whatever, you know, there's kids across the world that could still continue to be afflicted with this disease. But we here can fight it. We can stand up to Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. Fuck you, motherfucker. I mean, we can just ball up a fist and punch that bitch in the face.
Damn right.
So let's fuck this bitch. Let's fuck her in the ass.
We're advocating against a something you can't actually punch, but yes.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that would have fucking been crazy, George. Jesus Christ. Being at the hospital for that long, just like standing around, like, what the fuck am I meant to do?
Well, he was released 16 days later, and he will turn 6 in September.
16 days? Holy shit. So did you stay in the hospital? Did you have to go in every day? Like, that's
my wife
nightmare.
was in the hospital for 4 days, and then we would just come and go from the hospital. You know, I don't know if we slept there any other nights after that, but we would. It's like I was off work for about a week and a half. I'd stop up on my way to work and stop by on my way home. My wife would just be up there all day. You know, she'd have somebody drive her up there until she could drive herself, and she would stay with them all day. But you know, again, because people had looked into that and they'd had the funding to do that, everything turned out, and now he's a pain in my ass.
Yeah.
No. My older boy he's a great kid. It's my 3-year-old that's a pain in the ass. He's a fucking asshole. My 3-year-old is an ass. I still love him though. He's a cute kid.
Well, you've got to, man. You're programmed to. Otherwise, you'd just be like, oh, it'd be like a Hansel and Gretel style situation, if you know what I mean.
off into the woods with you.
Don't chase me, I'm full of chocolate.
All right, Tim, have you received confirmation from Wargamer Eric of his donation? DM'd it to you.
Sorry, my phone went dead. I've been
Mine's just about dead as well.
Luckily, I've got a cable here which gives it new life.
Yeah, I need to plug mine
It's
in.
fucking around.
Magic.
Linus, you've been muted. Let's hear from you. Somebody muted Linus.
No, I muted myself.
All right, Linus. Hey, Linus.
Hey.
Be quiet. Let's hear it. Let's hear how's Sweden this morning.
Sweden is great. Got some rain coming, finally.
Oh, that's good. You have the English are too?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, we had some last night. Oh, sorry.
Where dropped out.
Gone. He's back.
There he is.
Am I back?
You are back.
Yeah, you're the most northernest of all the human beings that podcast, right? In terms of 30K.
I don't know about JP and.
Hey, we got some
Are they
great
further
news.
north?
We have breached $26,000. So the total donation. Let me tally this up again real quick. Hopefully my phone does not die. We've had some additional donations roll in.
Yep, and I've got confirmation from Eric. So good work, Eric.
All right,
it's not on its way, but you know,
$1,930 today.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
So if we get two more tickets bought, we'll hit $2,000. We've got 25 minutes left in the telethon. 2 more donations come in. We are at $2,000.
Sweet.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Well, Jody didn't get waxed half to death for nothing. Then that's good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he gets to keep his beard.
No, he can keep his beard.
I gave him the peer pressure. I gave him the peer pressure to tase myself.
All the rest of Jody's hair though has been like torn from his body, right?
Has anyone in here ever had a part of their body waxed?
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not nice.
No, it is uncomfortable. I let my wife wax a strip of my back once many years ago, and bad.
Again.
I've got a back like a Robin Williams.
Sex games go, it's not the best.
It is uncomfortable, especially when you're a Wookiee like me. Speaking of Wookiees, when I flew into Houston Thursday night, when Pretty picked me up from the airport, he made a point of pointing out to me that we were technically in East Texas, so I had to keep my eyes out for Squatch, and unfortunately, did not sight any. But we were in Squatch country.
Yeah, I did too, man. When we were driving through that, I was just like, "Whoa, gonna fucking see some Squatch. Gonna see like a fucking hairy man leap behind a tree or some shit." I was like, I had my eyes open the whole time, just looking around, like, "There's got to be something here. Come on." The whole time we were in when we were staying at Ryan's, we went out one morning and a couple of branches had been broken off like one of his pine trees in his yard, and I'm like, "Look how high up that is. That's like 12 feet. It's gonna be a Squatch for sure. Just snapping branches." He's like, no, it's probably some natural blah, 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 blah. He's like explaining it to me. And I'm like, nah, man, like fucking branches don't just fall off trees. Squatch fucking pull them down, bro. It's fucking Squatch for sure. So at least I've seen a tree break. So, that's definitely like a sign of Squatch. I didn't hear any howls. Didn't hear any wood knocks or anything, but yeah. Hey, so Phosphex Party, guys. When's the next event you guys are going to, 30K wise? I want to hear from Linus too.
We're going to we've got, me and Spencer have got tickets to go to the Warhammer World campaign weekend, which was quite a big.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
So
and what's that? Is that a 2-day event? Like, piss up at Big Bugman's?
Yeah, it starts on the Friday night.
So it starts on the Friday night, goes to Sunday afternoon. It's got 4,000 points, 2.5, and a 1,000 points as well.
Okay, cool.
We were actually talking about what we're going to take last night. And kind of models we're going to build and all the kind of stuff. And then I'm going to be painting all of it, aren't I, Spencer? So anyway, Dan, I've had this great idea. What we're going to do is this, right? So okay to make that for me?
All that stuff you paint, all that stuff you painted already. Yeah, none of that. I need I'm gonna need a whole bunch more quad phosphoxes and.
Exactly what's happened.
Yeah. So here's me planning what I'm going to do with my fists, and Captain Dickhead here.
Oh,
Go, hey, hang on a
right.
minute.
So the original plan that Dan said, he said, "Oh, I'll paint your army for you." And we said, "Okay, we make it."
I really need to be more specific on these kind of things. I really do.
Well, no, it was to be my first 3,000 point army. So I built and designed this 3,000 point army, and Dan was going to paint it. And then we had the first Tarsus event, which was a Centurion event, and my army didn't work for that. So I had to add extra stuff for that, and Dan painted that for me. Wicked. And we came to this this campaign weekend. You need this 4,000 points. I'm like, shit, I'm going to have to add some extra to get this 4,000 points. And that actually totaled up what I've got painted. And it's actually more like 5,000 points worth of stuff painted already.
Nice.
I've got the stuff that I've got ready that I could take in the spot of 5,000 points. Mostly heavy support. I can't take all of it.
But you've not got a roll before, have you?
No,
It's
don't fucking encourage it. That's not what I'm here. Oh no,
That's how it happens, man. Yeah, that's how it happens. You paint to 2,000 points, or once you even get to 5,000 points, you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, once I get to 5K, I'll stop that." But then you're like, "Oh, look, I can make this army if I just get 2 more Predator squadrons." And then just next thing, yeah, I've played that. I like autocannons, but maybe I could do maybe I need a jet assault army. I'm gonna need 4 storm eagles for that. And then just next thing, I need drop pods now. Yeah, next thing you got 12,000 points. And you're like, what the fuck is all this shit? I can't fucking move for all these fucking models.
That's exactly how I got to 14,000 points of Ultramarines.
Zero chill there, Mark. Zero chill. No, Spin keeps building stuff. The thing that gets me about Spin is that I'm painting his stuff for him, and then he'll go, "So I've had this thought for a militia army I might try." Whoa! Back the truck.
I'm not asked to paint that.
No, not yet.
And you're not offered. So
Too fucking right I am.
It's 200 models. That's just the infantry, and then
knock those out. Well, he's got an airbrush. It'll be all right.
Yeah, that's all you need, man.
Cellophane wrapping, but
And just dip them. Do the dipping thing.
Just like
that's what you do, isn't it?
Army paint and watch is the way forward. Is the way forward. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, so we're quite hyped for that. I couldn't go to the Tarsus one in the end. We had the last Tarsus, and the next Tarsus one is near my birthday. So me and Mrs. Porter have a birthday 2 days apart, which is quite good. It means I always get 48 hours notice before a birthday. So winner. I guess I planned it like that. But yeah, so the next Tarsus event is out. So that one, and then to be honest, everybody's getting quite hot and frothy for Adeptus Titanicus as well.
Yeah. People are fired up for that, man. I wish they'd tell us the fucking price though, for Christ's sake. I don't know what's happening. The open day, they specifically
You don't want to know the price.
we can't tell you when it's coming out. Here's all the models. We can't tell you when it's coming out. We can't tell you the price because White Dwarf has the exclusive. And then we were all like, "Oh, when the fuck's it?" And then 5 days, 10 days later, however long it's been,
I
suddenly it comes out, and then you're just like, "Well, what's happening? What's going on?"
Well, just to put this in context, should we tell them the story we found out about the atomantic shielding?
No. I don't think we're allowed to.
So
I don't think we're actually allowed to.
No. Let's just say we found out something about the atomantic purveyors for the Dopey Rodeo, and can't be clear on specifics.
There's a reason why it's.
There's a reason, a really fucking stupid reason, but there's a reason why it's not.
Yeah, that was a good day actually.
It was all right, wasn't it? They can be a bit those opening days. They can be a bit flat sometimes because they don't always give you anything new. You don't
Yeah.
mean?
If there's no primer, people fucking lose their minds. Yeah.
There was only one new model overall, which is
it was the they got the Angel Praetors, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't seen them before, but I'm sure they've been on the interweb somewhere.
No,
the Tartarus one had been, but the Power Armor one was new.
That was the new, wasn't it? Yeah.
All right.
But the cool thing about that day was with regards to Adeptus Titanicus was that they've been very open about people looking through the book and handling on the models, which they obviously hadn't done. They had all that stuff at Warhammer Fest.
Handling.
Some people look through the book. When I asked to look through the book, Tony told me to sod off.
Sorry.
When I asked to look through the rule book, Tony first he took a box over to a table because it was getting too crowded around the stand. And I picked up books and I go, "Oh, it's not as thick as I thought it was." And I went to open it and he said, "Oh, sod off." It was like, he didn't tell me to go away. He just said, "Sod off, you can't open it."
That's what it's like. Tony Cottrell, I don't think he knows his arse from his elbow.
It was just blank pages.
Elbow.
Potentially. But yeah, other people got to look through it.
Yeah.
Sort of, you cheeky monkey. Yeah.
But as for a release date, based on the stuff they've said in the update about Warhammer Fest Europe, I reckon it's going up for pre-order on the 25th.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that, aren't they?
What, April?
No, August.
April?
25th.
August, yeah, because they said you'll be able to see and handle the Adeptus Titanicus models, before they're out. So,
yeah, it was nice to see them.
It's weird they do like a preview or something in a White Dwarf and then not release it during that month or while that White Dwarf was current. Like, when the fuck have they ever done that? Just being like, "Oh, here's a game.
Well,
we want to buy it. Here's my credit card. Oh, no, you can't. Yeah, no, it's not for you."
The next White Dwarf after that should be the 1st of the 31st of August.
Yeah,
or maybe even the 7th of September. So.
Jesus. I get to the point where it's just like, just fucking release it, man.
I wanted to delay.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Because I need to save for it.
True story. I'm funding my giant robot habit by painting somebody else's army, not Spencer's, somebody else's, who's actually paid something.
It's your offer.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh, dude, as long as they don't do it the way they did the Necromunda release, which was just like the worst thing. Like I've never, like, I've bought a bunch of shit, like I'm a consumer. I'm a kid from the 80s. I've bought things online. I've like waited to buy shit. I've gone to stores, whatever. But like the way they dropped Necromunda, where they dropped like part of the rulebook and then like, "Oh, you want to play the outdoors game? Well, here's another part of the rulebook. And if you want to play that outdoors game, you have to look in 2 spots in the first rulebook and then a 3rd spot in the second book. That's how you can play the game." Like, what the fuck? And then they brought out like a couple of other books and like that, just slow drip feeding it like that. If they do that with Titanicus, fucking RIP. Like, that's just ridiculous. So nothing can be nothing could be worse than the Necromunda release. Like, I've never seen any company or anything.
Kill Team is way worse than that.
Oh, you reckon? You gotta buy expansions, do you?
Well, I said
you have to buy every little set to get the full rules.
Oh,
you have to buy a $50 orc set to get a single mission. It's not in the rule book. You have to buy the $50 kit. You have to buy all the $50 kits to get all the missions. So if you want to organize an event, you have to buy all the shit. Otherwise,
oh my god,
it's the same with Age of Sigmar. Each of the battle tomes has its own sort of battle plan in there. So you've got to, if you want all the battle plans, you've got to get them. But
the difference is that's always been a thing with codexes and things. They have their funny narrative missions. These are not the funny narrative missions. These are the basic missions. So there's very few missions in the Killer book. So the basic missions, like, "Oh, I'm tired of just playing 4 missions. Is there a 5th mission, a 6th mission?" Yes, there is. You just have to buy this very expensive expansion and 11 others.
Oh my god! Well, Jesus Christ! I thought Necromunda was the worst thing ever, but just listening to that sounds like it's across the board. At least with 30K, you get like a huge fucking mega tome, and it's like, whoa, look at this huge book. It's like handed down from the fucking gods, and then you just like flick through it and just like, oh my god, there's a demon army now. Holy shit, I can play fucking demons.
Tim, have you actually seen the new 40K rulebook?
Dude, I literally am not in any groups to do with 40K. The only 40K stuff I'm ever exposed to is on Instagram, when someone who I've followed because they have 30K pictures has posted a 40K model, and then I go, "Oh, I wonder what that is. Some new golden man, I guess." See, like, I walked around the tables at Adepticon, and I walked around the tables at an event that we had here, like at BrizCon. But like, that's the only exposure. I don't follow any of the online shit. I don't read White Dwarf. That's the only way to stay sane. And just like fucking not be sad about the way that they're just destroying the fucking like background that they had for like years.
Let me tell you, I spent money on a 40K rulebook when the new edition came out last fall. I mean, it was all, I sold a bunch of shit to make money to buy some shit. I can't get rid of that damn thing now. I mean, there's just so much crap in it.
Is it one of those big? Is it one of those big fat books that they do? You know, the big
Yes,
rule book?
and there's about this much rules and this much filler.
Yeah. I've got one of those.
I bought the exclusive one. The really expensive. Yeah, and it's not sold out, and no one wants to buy it from me, so I'm stuck with it.
Yeah. I've tried to trade that thing away and can't. I can't get rid of it.
Video player.
Imagine like everyone in Games Workshop must look at Forge World now and they're like, wait, you just have one rule book and then you have like 3 army books and that's the entire game with like fucking, there's like, how many factions are there in Heresy? There's like the 18 legions times those by 2 basically, because there's Loyalists and Traitor, I guess word bearers, but whatever. And then you've got 3 Mechanicum armies, Militia armies, Knight. You get all of that shit. It's in 4 fucking books. And if you don't need one of those books, you don't have to fucking buy it, you know? Like if you want Marines, which is the biggest, most numerous one, you only need 3 books. Whereas with 40k every month, imagine if they put Heresy on that same system, the same fucking insane like fucking go-kart ride that like 40k players have to go through. That's 40k people just make me laugh so much because they stress out about all this shit that's happening. And you're like, just don't fucking play it, man. Look, 30k is exactly the same as like back in the old days, back when like fucking shit was sensible. They haven't changed the core rule set for 30k in like 10 years. Well, I don't know. What is it? Maybe not 10 years. It hasn't been maybe 5 years, whatever. Like Michael had that Imperial Fist army. He played in the very first event anywhere in the world, which was in April 2013. And he's still playing that Imperial Fist army now. It basically hasn't changed. And that's how stable his army, and he's still able to fucking destroy people with it. In 40k, there would have been like, you would have had 6 Tyranid armies in those times, you know, like it's just fucking craziness. People stress out about it. Just play 30k.
It might be annoying that FAQ can sometimes have several years between them, but to be honest, I'd rather have that than having the points and the rules change every other week.
Yeah. People get uptight about the rules, like the erratas and stuff. But have you ever been at an event where people have been like, "Oh my god, how are we gonna ever fucking resolve this situation? Oh my god, what are we gonna do?" You know, like it never happens. You just roll fucking d6 for it. 4+, yeah, cool. It's only the sort of weird list building things, and then you go, if it's too complicated for you to try and figure out what the problem is, just don't run that. I suggest run if you're having problems, like the problem is there's a lot of people who just go and fucking. Oh, I've just started some fucking insane heresy real talk, but anyway, there's a lot of people who just like to fucking just pick holes in every single rule set and find the most broken shit, and then be like, "Look, I fucking found it, man! It's fucking here! Oh my god, I found the broken shit! I found the broken shit! Oh my god, what are we gonna do about this broken shit?" And you're like, I don't know, just don't fucking run it, cunt. Yeah.
Warhounds on Skyfields, anyone?
Yeah, dude, I didn't even mind that shit. I'd play against that. The only thing that I had a problem with was the fact that the Sky Shield, the rules specifically say if you don't have the sides up, you don't get the 4+ save, and their fucking thing you couldn't even put the sides up. If I was a TR, I'd just be like, you can't fucking do that. What are you doing? Like, it doesn't even fit on that thing to begin with. You can do it fine. Everyone knows you're a jackass if you do it, but you can't get a 4+ invulnerable save from having the sides up when the sides are clearly not up, mate. Like, you're fucking having a laugh, cunt. Get out, cunt. Like, that's what would have happened. It wouldn't even get to that point in Australia. Like, no, someone would say that they were going to do that, and some dude would be like, "Are you having a fucking pool, dickhead? Fuck off." And then they'd go, "Oh yeah, okay, true." But I'd still play against it. I think the De La Rosas were going to fucking crush it. They would have crushed it with their militia and Solar Ox army, but they got seized on by it. They just got like D-smashes on all their good tanks. So, but yeah, like there's just a professional scene of people who like to find fucking holes and then just like yap about it. And you're like, well, I don't know, if it's too much trouble, just don't use that list. Don't use that combo of items.
Dickheads.
Yeah, it's just crazy. But you know, Heresy scene's fucking awesome, man. Like all those events in the UK, like you guys have got a fucking insane fucking a number of events going on there. You know, like you can almost go to something every couple of weeks in the UK at the moment. Like if you're willing to travel around the small part of your country, you know.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it. Oh, Jesus, that's a bit of a trek, isn't it? It's like an 1.5-hour drive. What? You can just go. I mean, we're in early stages of planning our own event with our gaming club and the podcast as well. So, but what we're thinking of doing is a 30k and Adeptus Titanicus kind of campaign weekend.
Yeah.
Conflict Norwich are talking about doing one of them in December, but Zone Mortalis and Adeptus Titanicus.
Oh, that's cool.
So Tottenham had Zone Mortalis games, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we are counting down the minutes to this event. I know I'm fighting to kind of stay awake right now.
Give me your fucking money.
You needed some cat to chew on, mate. Why aren't you chewing on some
cat? Yeah.
Start chewing on some leaves.
So our grand total raised for tonight was $1,930, which puts us at a grand total of
is that 70?
$26,152 of the $30,000 goal. Now, keep in mind, we have until October to raise this additional $3,000 and some change before the Scandus event. So,
really good way to get it tied in if you want to fucking warlord.
Yep.
It's already painted, and there's 2 Reavers that are already painted. Like, holy shit. You can act out all of your fucking insane 28 mil fantasies, just crushing people, them under like a Reaver or something.
To everyone that is currently watching, and everyone that will view this footage in the future, we'd like to thank you all very much from the entire Horus Heresy podcast community. Thank you all so very much for tuning in, as well as your very generous donations to fight Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. So I'm going to give it up to everyone that is here on the cast if there's anything that you'd like to say before we go out. So we'll start with the Phosphex party boys. Anything else you guys would like to say?
Other than give us your fucking money, it's been a pleasure. We should have a more regular podcasting schedule now. Ross has moved down to Leicester, so he's not at the other end of the country from us. But yeah, been great to be on, and great to see you all.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Hey, dude, you got to read out my cock punch email on your show too.
Yes, we'll do that.
I sent you a cock punch challenge. Do you want to just tell people what the cock punch challenge is before you?
Okay, so the cock punch challenge is contact the podcast. We'll meet you somewhere. We'll play a game.
We'll try.
We'll try. We'll meet you somewhere. We'll play a game. Points, armies, whatever you like. And if you win, we'll add you to Cock Haller, which is our Hall of Heroes for people who can beat us. So, me, go 2020 then.
Yeah. Fuck it. Yep, done. I was hoping you guys would just, like, for some unknown reason, just come down to Australia. But, like, yeah, that probably makes more sense. Meet at LVO 2020.
I tell you what, steal a 40-foot container and I'll have
We could play a game in it. While we're being shipped. Yeah.
They do quite warm. Anyway.
Yeah, I think the other thing is the next telethon, everyone has to be chewing cat. We need to get need to mail some of this.
We can't anymore because it was made illegal in the UK in 2014.
Damn. Guess you can't do it then. No one ever does anything illegal.
No.
Don't worry.
From Edge of
We're going to
anything else
send you an envelope full of leaves.
Before we call it a night.
Anything else? I tell you what, I'm going to throw in a prize to the big raffle. I've got a signed copy by both Dan Abnett and Neil Roberts of McCragg's Honor. So I'm going to throw that into the big raffle.
Oh, very nice. That is very generous of you, kind sir.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to shout out the Scandus event as well. If you can go, you should definitely go. It's a great event, and the raffle will be at the end of the Scandus event. It was great being there last year. We had to drive a guy home with a brand new night house. He was so torn up, like, my girlfriend's going to kill me. I promised her I wasn't getting any more toys this year. And he's coming home in like 7 nights.
You won. It doesn't count.
Yeah. I see him having a very hard time explaining that to his girlfriend. Like, I won it. It's okay.
Yep. Well, Linus, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. It's very, very nice to have you on and get some of that Northern Heresy representation.
Thanks.
Tim, anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, check out the Northern Heresy podcast and also Edge of Empire podcast as well. There's so many fucking strong podcasts. Like, it's just fucking amazing. There's so much content. If you ever need, like, now is like the fucking golden era. If you need to sit down and just like paint some models and want to listen to some 30K, maybe slightly related to 30K banter, all the way up to just like relentless, like nothing but 30K fluff. Now it's like the fucking golden age. You can, and probably in like 10 years time, you can listen to it all again once you've like inhaled so many paint fumes that you've forgotten like all of the episodes that have been released. But yeah, just heresyagainstdmd.com, like this best way to buy some tickets. You buy $35 gets you a ticket. The sweet spot is $105. That gets you 3 tickets, and it's apparently tax deductible. I don't know if we're meant to be giving like any tax advice, but basically, from what I heard, it's like free money. So the charity's fucking an amazing one as well. It's great to see like so many people fucking bringing out their money and supporting these charities. So good work, everyone in the community. That's all I've got to say.
Well, again, everyone that is currently watching, thank you again so much for tuning in and for your kind and generous donations. That really means an absolute. Just it means the world to all of us here in the Heresy podcasting community. And with that, as always, thank you folks for tuning in. So on behalf of all the folks at Forgotten Legion 30K, Pretty and Josh, thank you again. On behalf of myself and my co-host at the Spaceman with Guns, thank you all again. And good night and good luck.
Wait.